Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Salaam, Britain. Alhamdulillah. Okay,
So, welcome back. What's going on, Sakina?
today, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we're joined here in the studio by Yasin Erkul, who's the head of youth engagement, and Abdullahi Shira Elmi, he's a youth worker from the HotSpot, a youth club based in inner city Nationals, Birmingham. And we're also joined by Yusuf Hakam, his youth ambassador.
Wow. Okay.
SubhanAllah, that's a lot.
Wow,
mashallah.
that is a lot. The hotspot is on a mission to support young people in every aspect of their lives, spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Yes. Spiritually, they help young people connect with their deen in a meaningful way beyond the traditional madrasa lessons through exploring the seerah, critical thinking, studying tafsir, and addressing topics that are often avoided in community conversations.
Amazing. And mentally, they run mentoring projects for 16 to 19-year-olds, helping young men and women develop key life skills from employability to networking to emotional intelligence and interpersonal communication skills.
MashaAllah. And physically, the hotspot keeps young people active with holiday activities and food camp projects, national and international trips, weekly football sessions, archery, and even wrestling.
Wow, it sounds like a lot to do and a lot to crack on with. So all of this work is happening in an area that faces significant challenges, ranking 10th in deprivation in the West Midlands. Amazing. Yet, Yasin and his amazing team are determined to see the Ummah develop and empower the next generation.
Yes, so we're so excited to have them with us here in the studio to share their vision, their projects, and how young people in Birmingham are being given the tools to thrive.
Alhamdulillah. So Yasin, Abdullahi and Yusuf, welcome to Salaam Britain.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salaam. Thank you for having us.
No, thank you for joining us this morning. First of all, thank you for coming from so far,
Yes.
because obviously we know you've had a long journey in this morning, so we're very grateful to have you present with us this morning.
And Mabruk,
Yeah,
mashallah.
alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And Mubarak, exactly, for winning this incredibly amazing youth award, which I'd like you to tell us about in a little while.
Of course.
But before we talk about the award, my first question to you, and all of you are welcome to pipe in to answer, but let's stripping it back a little bit when it was nothing, right?
Yeah.
When it was just starting. What was the idea and what initiated and inspired each of you individually?
Of course, of course. So initially, when we first came to we first founded the hotspot. Me and obviously another co-founder, we're working as youth workers for an amazing youth club in Small Heath, Dream Chasers Youth Club, and so based off that, we essentially said, okay, have this vision to kind of go forward and try and help other communities within Birmingham as well who also need something, as there wasn't a lot of stuff going on in East Shores. So we decided to kind of settle and lock in and work with a local masjid Quba. Alhamdulillah, for the manager there, Sheikh Nasser, he's really like at the forefront of opening the gates for a lot of youth work. You know, a lot of traditional masjids, they would close their gates to kind of involving youth and opening the doors. So he really helped us kind of pioneer our way through there. And then in combination with the masjid, we've been able to grow and just go from strength to strength in working with our young people, really.
Mashallah, sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. And Abdullahi, do you want to add anything to that?
Alhamdulillah, yeah, well, thanks to the masjid, we're working alongside the HotSpot, the youth club. We're able to reach a lot more people than we expected. And we're able to help impact them in the nurturing of the Islam, alhamdulillah.
Because Abdullah, he grew up in East Shores, right? So this area to him, like, it's quite...
It's your home.
It's his home
yes,
area, man.
Subhanallah.
Alhamdulillah.
That's amazing. And what more beautiful way to give back to your community than the way that you are, mashallah. And Yusuf, what's your input on that?
Or like, as a youth, you know, I wasn't there from the start exactly. Yeah. But when I heard about it and all the things that they were doing, it was like great to get involved and help out. And what they were doing was just, when they were helping, I just loved doing that with them.
Yeah. He's just come from Essex, so his involvement is like from the trip side of things. Whenever we do international trips or residential trips, he'll be involved from there.
So you moved into that area, basically?
Currently I still live there, but I'm planning to go to university there.
Okay,
inshallah,
mashallah.
and I'll be
That's
moving
nice.
there. So
That's nice. It's a
that
really
could
great
be-
way to integrate into the community, I suppose, isn't it,
definitely,
as well?
Exactly. It's like a little icebreaker, you know?
Yeah, mashallah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mashallah, no, this is absolutely wonderful. The fact that you've seen a need and you've, mashallah, been able to fill it in such a meaningful way. Can you explain how you're able to approach disseminating the truth to young people in different ways? Because obviously the traditional way hasn't been working. So how have you managed to do that?
No, of course. So my background and what I do for a living and what I've done in the past, I've worked on projects to reduce youth violence. I've worked with young people who obviously been involved in certain things that try and get them back on the straight path as best as we can. So when it comes to breaking that edge and trying to engage young people, I love what we do is outreach. One of the things that separates us a lot from traditional, I guess, youth work or kind of youth engagement is our social media presence. So when you want to kind of relate to young people, when you want to work with them and engage them, you have to have a certain personality and presence online. So that's something we've really been able to push, alhamdulillah, thanks to Isa, our social media guy. He's been doing an amazing job at pushing our content out, of us actually having a appearance online. So when young people are able to see you're doing things day in and day out, that you're in with the trends, that you understand their issues, they're way more likely to kind of turn up and want to be associated with you. They can DM you, they can message you, they'll feel like more included. So I guess that's one of our main approaches to
And
engaging.
that you're accessible as well. Like,
Exactly,
you know,
exactly,
It's very
that's it.
important that they feel they can reach out if needed. And even the name HotSpot, it's quite a good
Yeah.
name as well that the youth can really connect with, I think.
Yeah,
Something
resonate with.
hot, something, you know,
Definitely.
it's their place
Yeah.
and so on.
Actually, it's funny you said that because the name hotspot is normally traditionally used as like a negative word
Oh, really?
to associate like, oh, that's a crime hotspot.
Ah,
Or like you see, so now we've played on that and said, look, rather than negative, actually positive things are going on there. So
Subhanallah. Subhanallah. So let's focus a little bit on your projects, yeah?
yeah,
Because you're doing things like employability and life skills. And if I can just get all three of you to answer this.
of course.
So think about which project. So think about a project. Talk to me a little bit about explaining what the impact is going to be and why we're doing this project. And let's try and make them all different. We'll start with you.
Of course. So my role, which I'm currently running 2 projects. So the first one we do Sira every Saturday. So we do with hard to reach young people which have been involved with the police and kind of antisocial behaviour. But we've been able to build, alhamdulillah, really good relationships with them and bring them into the youth club every single Saturday. Again, with the combination of the masjid, alhamdulillah. So we run that every Saturday for a couple hours. We bring different guests in. We speak about how the Sira relates to those young people's lives. And they can embody that. The second project is on social mobility. So this is a project we run on Saturdays in which we try and, again, get young people to, those that are aspiring to get degree apprenticeships. So degree apprenticeship where you're fully funded your degree, you're working full time, where you get experience. How do young people get into those roles? How can they attain them salaries, kind of prosper, while obviously a lot of the deprivation in the area kind of hinders that. So we're having them interpersonal skills, the CV writing, interview skills, actually allowing them to prosper. So alhamdulillah, some of our young people, they've already got interviews with large companies like KPMG already, and they're on that journey to attaining that. So we're just mentoring them through that each week, basically.
Before you go on, I just want to touch more up on what you've just said. Do you find that it complements each other, the fact that they are learning about the Sira and then they're going ahead practically looking for jobs and writing their CVs and all of that, and then they've got the stories of the Sira to fall back on where things were difficult for the Prophet ﷺ, yet he persevered. So do you find there's lots of links there? And
everything in Islam, alhamdulillah, is beautiful. It's created with the hikmah of Allah, right? The knowledge that we can bring things into our day-to-day life. So when you have your strong identity as a Muslim, you can now prosper in corporate spaces. You can now prosper in those places where normally you might feel your iman is dipping. So it's being able to prosper in the West in a way in which, okay, you're attaining your deen and your knowledge and you're increasing it, but also your ability to contribute to society, your ability to prosper in your careers. That is also aligned with it. So it's very important we don't neglect either side.
I think it sounds very interesting because obviously we know from research and from all the sectors that Muslims are now, mashallah, thriving in that. Even they at the top will say that, you know, they feel or have felt at some point in their life an element of imposter syndrome, you know, where you have the skill, you know you're the best man for the job, but you still feel like you're not the right person, right?
Definitely.
So knowing and the feeling comes from being made to feel like that because we're different. And why have that imposter syndrome when you know you're fully capable? So that mindset narrative change is so important from a young age, and you're doing that. So that's incredible. So Abdullahi, do you have any projects that you'd like to talk to us about?
So alhamdulillah, I'm able to help run one of the tafsir programs so
SubhanAllah.
that the students who attend this, instead of just learning the Quran, they attempt to take practical lessons from it so that they are able to apply it in their life instead of just being words that they memorize. So alhamdulillah, we've been running this every Saturday. On an average, around 30 of the youth come and listen to it on a weekly basis. And
That's
then
amazing.
we also, to make sure that they are enjoying their time being in the masjid and listening to these lectures where they're able to apply in their own lives, we also ensure that we are building a community between them, so that these youths that come, that they make sure that their intention to be with each other is to be friends for the sake of Allah, so that they're always pushing each other, guiding each other in the correct direction. So that is also the second aim of the program, so that they are essentially bring the correct type of friendships, because the youth that I work with are often between 10 to 13, and so they just entered secondary school life. They have often been introduced to problems that they didn't know before existed. So we're hoping to create an environment where they are close to each other, they remind each other of Allah, and then at the same time they learn the Quran and a way to apply it to their life. And I also help run other programs such as the residentials, where it's essentially a retreat from their day-to-day life. Where, for example, earlier this year we took a group of children to Spain, where there was a lot of beneficial lessons they learned. Where, for example, victory belongs only to Allah. For example, there were phrases that were written all over certain castles.
Yeah,
like
you
the
go
one
to Granada.
Yeah,
SubhanAllah.
Alhambra Palace, where there was a statement, speak a little, leave with peace.
Yeah.
So it's essentially, earlier this year we took them to Wales as well,
Nice.
where they were able to experience nature, to contemplate on life itself. So alhamdulillah, I help run with these programs as well.
No, it sounds
Very
amazing,
powerful,
doesn't
mashallah.
it? Just
Very
sounds
powerful
amazing.
memories being built, especially you said that the children are between 10 and 13. So yeah, subhanAllah, that's
Wow.
a very, very good age
Yeah.
to really get them to think about this and to be part of that history, to see it for themselves. It's one thing to hear the stories, it's another thing to actually witness it and walk around and touch
Yeah.
the walls and so on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Very, very
And how about you, Yusuf?
Yeah, I was a part of the trips as well. I went to Spain with
Nice.
the group and the other residential
Yeah.
trips. And yeah, I was to
Was
add
it your
on
first
to
time in Spain?
Yeah, the first time in
You
Spain.
said, how did you like Granada? Did you think it was what you were expecting it to be?
No, it was much better.
Yes.
10 times better. Yeah. And Granada, went to Seville as well.
Yeah.
And went to another place as well, Cordoba.
Nice.
I like the other
Mashallah.
places in there. So yeah, learning about all the Islamic Spain was amazing.
Yeah.
One of the best
We want our
experiences.
young people to have strong Muslim identities, right? So when they see that Spain was a Muslim country, they
Yeah,
see that
yeah.
Islam it's not something foreign to the Middle East, that is actually existing in Europe.
Yeah, yeah. Spain,
Over 800
France,
years, subhanAllah.
Germany, there's Islamic history all over Europe, and we're just so unaware of it because, unfortunately, the West doesn't really want us to know that they have Islamic history in any of their walls or lands, unfortunately. But there is so much richness and culture and Islam across the world, mashallah.
I was curious about the parents as well, getting them involved and getting them on board. How have you found that, especially with big trips like going to Spain and going to
Yeah,
Wales?
especially with
How's that
parents,
going?
Of course.
They're a struggle, aren't they?
Of course. I mean, once the parents see the vision which you're creating, they see the work that you're doing, they're way more likely to buy into what you're showing and support you. So a lot of our parents are very supportive of the work we're doing. They are fully asking, okay, our young people have been way more connected to the masjid now. They're talking to us saying, look, wow, how our kids have changed and gone into the masjid now. Literally, how many young people tell you that, the parents tell you that, wow, our kids now connected?
No, subhanAllah, we lost track of the amount of kids that rather than have the issue of bringing them to the masjid, we have the issue of telling them to go home.
Incredible. What a feeling.
I love that, mashallah.
Well, I can say from my experience, I don't know a masjid like Masjid Quba, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whenever you go there, it's lively, it's alive, it's thriving. It's what a masjid should be, outreach youth work, supporting parents, supporting young people in all types of fields. So yeah.
Do you think that could be a template for other
Well, like,
masters?
definitely. There's masjids which are doing good work as well like that.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. If we can get even more masjids in the UK to be like that, just like here for youth are trying to do as well, it would be beautiful.
Yeah, this is what the masjid is meant to be, isn't it?
Literally, yeah.
Essentially, it's not just to be the place of prayer, it's a place for the community, especially for the youth.
For children to come
to
together,
grow up,
play
to
and
grow,
grow. Okay, so boys, one thing I'm really interested in knowing, and you know, you shout out if it comes to your head, but obviously you've touched so many lives in the last, God knows how long have
I've
you
only been set
around?
up for just over a year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know, in over 12 months, you've touched so many lives, mashallah, to a point where parents are saying we need to take our kids home, right? Subhanallah, you know, I wish that they would come in my house as well one day.
Sure.
Is there a child or a parent whose story just sticks with you and it always motivates you or brings a smile to your face and makes you think, I'm going to go again today because I made that impact?
I think you're going to answer this one. I feel like you have
Go on,
a couple of
Abdullahi.
case studies.
There is, for example, one of the youth, he went to Spain with us.
Yeah.
And when we went to Spain, I think it was Ramadan, like 2 weeks later. And so he went to Spain with us. He started coming to the masjid more often. And then, Allah, may Allah be pleased with him, he started his Quran journey. And so ever since then, he's been constantly on his hifd, memorizing non-stop.
MashaAllah.
And there are many other youths like this who they began loving the masjid more. For example, another youth, he would often come to, he was already in the masjid, but he wasn't really, he was connected to the masjid and he was there, he was enjoying his time there. But when it came to the Quran and the learning of the deen, he only started to pick up after thanking Allah. We are there, so through us, he began to start learning the Quran more. He started going out of his own way to start learning fiqh, going out of his own way to start learning aqidah. So there's many more kids, and this is just the Islamic side. There's, for example, another youth that Yasin has worked with here. He went on to make his own charity to go help Sudan.
Subhanallah.
Yeah,
So-
shout out P4P. That's
P4P,
Play
yeah.
for Peace. So after what happened in Sudan, obviously,
Subhanallah,
the young
love that.
person decided to start their own initiative. We supported them.
Yeah.
They did a tournament with Islamic Relief,
MashaAllah.
able to raise nearly £3,000.
MashaAllah.
So it's
Well done to
alhamdulillah.
him, and well done to all of you for encouraging that change. Okay, so now sticking on the stories, any stories of a parent or encounters with a parent or uncle or an aunt that stick with you and you think, oh, you know what, we're making a difference?
Yeah, I think there's been a couple parents where they've known their child is distant from not only the masjid but the household, is on the streets constantly, is not coming home till very late, and so when the parent knows that the young person is going to the masjid, they can call and say, please keep my kid at the masjid, or is he there, is he looked after?
Yeah.
To have people that are there constantly, and the kids spending 5-6 hours chilling in the masjid, it's a safe space, right? That's the key word, they're creating that safe space for young people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the parents being able to tell me, look, alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful, I'm working, I'm a single parent, I need somewhere for my child to be, and you're coming in and you're helping and providing that. It's very good, alhamdulillah, to know we are that for the
You're
community.
making a difference.
Exactly.
A huge
Mashallah,
difference.
mashallah.
And do you have plans to support parents with any, I don't know, workshops that they can then take tools away home and be able to implement to help them with their own
2026, we're fully going for the workshops for parents. We're locking in with parents. We're saying, look, we need to up-level them even more. Things to be very aware of their young people, especially with so many current things that are affecting young men and women online, social media, the manosphere, all these types of different things, and being aware of what your young people are watching.
Because at the end of the day, the world that the parents grew up does not exist in anymore. Their children are in a completely different world, and if we're not
100%.
equipped to be able to deal with that, it's very, very difficult.
it can be.
Subhanallah, no, it's really wonderful that you've recognised all of this and you're trying in your
mashallah.
own ways to, mashallah.
So I'm
mitigate
really
that.
curious now, obviously, because there's so much conversation, so many topics, subject areas that are taboo, right? You're not allowed to talk about them, both Muslim boys and Muslim girls, right? And of course, they're growing up in this Western world where it is normal, it is common to have these conversations with your non-Muslim friends. How are you kind of targeting those conversations,
How are you
opening up
doing
that
it?
dialogue.
Again, like for example, our Saturday serious session, with the Mesh's permission, we've been able to tackle some very kind of, I guess, sensitive issues relating to, I'm not sure what the channel will allow me to say on live, but, you know.
Whisper it.
Yeah. For like.
But, you know, for example, substance abuse, violence,
yeah.
sexuality, all of those things seem to be like the top trending issues amongst the youth at the moment, both Muslim and non-Muslim.
Yeah, even the content they're watching online. So we did a
Yes.
session on the effects of zina and these types of things when you're in relationships and how it can affect your masculinity. We've been able to target, obviously, when it comes to substance abuse, young people who are kind of still within that particular realm of taking certain substances, and how can we support them. And again, like my previous background, when you work with young people who are addicted to this stuff, you know, THC, which is affecting their brain chemistry, is mixed with spice and these types of things. How can we get those young people to at least come to the masjid more often, at least kind of break their foot into the masjid now? So that's been some of the things we've been able to.
And of course, that would mean that you need to kind of get the parents on board as well, get them to have that open dialogue at home, inshallah, and to kind of try and change their mindset as well. Do you struggle with that, like the conversations that you have to have with parents?
I think if a parent...
Well, sometimes also the parent might even be in denial that that's not my child. You know?
Yeah, I've seen that a lot of times. I've seen it a lot of times. Parents say, that's not my child doing that. But again, even if the parent's not on board, that shouldn't stop you now as a influence to try and help that young person. You can try and suggest it to the parent. When they see certain changes, then they'll get on board with it, right? So we do a lot of stuff to do icebreakers. So, for example, our sports is a very good icebreaker. Our residential trips are very good icebreakers because you're spending 4 or 5 days away from home. You're seeing these influences, our role models, our youth workers who are in the community, and it's like, wow, I haven't seen these types of people before, right?
Sometimes that's all it takes.
You've got a really strong program, mashallah. It sounds amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the sisters. What are the services that you're offering the sisters?
Yes,
do we have young Muslim sisters attending the masjid as well?
Definitely. So our sisters currently are doing one program. So they're locked into... They were a big part of our half camp program. So over the summer, where we engaged over 2,000 young people, so a huge amount of young people. We're doing like 170, 180 a day. A large amount of the young people which we worked with were young sisters from the local community. We really wanted to inspire our young sisters to take up more of a leadership role. So one thing we said to them, look, want full creative control on the sister side. Please, whatever you need, we're here to look after you, serve you, because prioritizing sisters, again, is something very important. They're neglected a lot of the time. So alhamdulillah, from the half camp, we were able to see sisters take up more leadership roles. They go on to design their own monthly mentorship program now. So they have about 30 to 40 girls that come to that program every month. They'll do activities, they'll do what they need to do. And some of the programs they've been able to do currently have been, I believe, their most recent project is the importance of Salaam. So it's a 5-part workshop where they're going into kind of a little Q&A section. Sisters are able to kind of ask questions in regards to how they can keep on their salah during secondary school, X, Y, and Z. Shout out Khadija doing that work, and the sisters that are supporting her as well.
Mashallah, you do so many things, the wrestling, the archery, mashallah. Where do you see the future going with this, Yusuf? I know you've mentioned workshops already, but what would you like to share with us?
Well, I think the future is going to be very big for the HotSpot. I mean, as one of the biggest youth masjids in the area of Birmingham, it's like the only place they can go is up,
Yeah.
Everyone's going to come, everyone's seeing what they're doing. The only thing.
And are you getting approached by other masjids nearby to say, yo, come and do this in our masjid, set it up for us?
You recently attended, actually. You went to a masjid recently and you were...
Alhamdulillah, there's other local masjids who began essentially opening their own. After seeing us do our work, they've been inspired by it. For example, another local masjid, shout out to them, they opened the Compass, and another institute as well, Ibn Kisai, so they can help their own youth and try to inspire them as well. And so alhamdulillah, with the work that we've been doing, literally the local masjids, they come to us asking for advice on how to engage with the youth. Because the one thing that we excel at is, after thanking Allah, is we for some reason have the ability to make the kids love the message, become
Alhamdulillah.
addicted to it.
Alhamdulillah.
Like from all the kids, even the ones that normally like to be on the street,
Yeah.
they just see us for one session, and khalas, they willingly come to the masjid.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
So alhamdulillah, these other organizations, they see us, and they want to know how is it that we're able to do it. So alhamdulillah.
And what do you say?
Huh?
What's the reason? What do you think it
I
is?
think relatability. Like
Yeah.
we're young. We're young.
To understand their jokes, to understand whatever meme
to
they're
have
seeing,
that banter.
to
Yeah.
have that banter, to have a conversation with them.
Okay, I think a lot of people already do that though. They have those skills. I think for you guys, it's your intention, and that you've made it your purpose, which is not something where everyone does. You know, there's a lot of people delving into this kind of work, but the intention and purpose may not be in alignment with what they're trying to achieve. Maybe it's just a pit stop for them. But I feel like you guys,
You've wrapped it up so well, you know.
beautiful what you're doing, mashallah. So
How can masjids
yeah,
find you and speak to you about what they
Yeah,
can do?
so you can find us on One Hotspot on Instagram. You can message us there on TikTok as well. You can find us on LinkedIn as well. All the major social platforms.
yeah.
The Hotspot UK1@gmail.com. You can message us email.
How long do we have left? Do we have time for another question? Oh,
We had
no,
to
I had
finish,
another
yeah.
question. Halas, but I'm going to ask you that question offline. But thank you so much,
I'm going
boys.
to shout out Muslim Youth Alliance.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to shout out Here for Youth. I'm going to shout out who else? Anybody else we need to shout out?
The youth themselves who inspire us.
Come on
as
now.
well.
Absolutely.
They make our lives easier.
Absolutely.
Allah Mubarak. Thank you so much, Yusuf, Abdullahi, and
Yasin.
Yasin. That's it, mashallah. And we'll see you again real soon in the near future.
Jazakallah khairan.
Right, so what we doing now?
Alhamdulillah, we are going to a break. I believe.
Yeah, indeed,
Let's
don't
put
go
that-
anywhere.
Yes, we'll be back soon after this.